Biden's poll numbers look grim as he preps for re-election bid. He runs neck and neck with both Trump and DeSantis in a head-to-head matchup at this point. Joe Biden became president promising a 180-degree turn from Donald Trump. But the two men do have one big thing in common: similarly poor approval ratings heading into the start of their re-election bids. Biden has not yet officially announced he's running again next year, though he has said he plans to. Polls show his approval rating is hovering in the low 40s, right around the mark where some of his predecessors who were denied second terms sat at this point of their presidencies. According to 538, Biden's average approval rating stands at 43%, about 9 points lower than his 52% disapproval rating. That's only 1 point higher than Trump's 538 approval rating on April 15, 2019, at the same point in his one-term presidency. Determining the extent to which Biden's poor job rating endangers his likely re-election bid is not just an academic exercise. A deep dive into the numbers reveals Biden isn't just struggling with independents and near-unanimous disapproval among Republicans. He's also soft among Democrats and left-leaning demographic groups, a weakness that suggests a diminished enthusiasm for his candidacy, though something that could be papered over by partisan voting patterns in the general election. That's because the possible alternative to Biden next November could be Trump, whose personal favorability ratings are generally worse than Biden's. Even as Trump has expanded his lead in the GOP presidential primary, he remains less popular than his Oval Office successor. For Biden, the polling presents both serious warning signs and reasons to think his peril may be overstated. Here's why. Biden's tenuous place in history. Biden's 43% approval rating at this juncture of his term puts him roughly even with past presidents who have both won: Barack Obama, 43%, Ronald Reagan, 41%, and lost, like Trump, 42%, and Jimmy Carter, 40%. Presidents' approval ratings can't predict their re-election prospects. Of the three presidents who failed to win a second term, two had approval ratings roughly equal to Joe Biden's. But so did Barack Obama and Ronald Reagan, who were both re-elected. But to underscore how things can change between mid-April of the year before the election and the next November, both George H.W. Bush and his son, George W. Bush, sported high approval ratings at this point. George H.W. Bush was just a couple of months removed from the successful Operation Desert Storm and had an approval rating of 77% in mid-April, according to Gallup, which maintains the deepest archives of presidential job ratings. The elder Bush would go on to win only 37% of the vote in a three-way race with Bill Clinton, 43%, and independent Ross Perot, 19%. Owing to economic woes that overshadowed the credit he'd gotten from the first Iraq War. George W. Bush had a 75% approval rating in a Gallup poll in mid-April 2003, about a month into the second Iraq War. He won re-election, though by just 2 percentage points over Democrat John Kerry. For Biden, not only is 18 months a long time, but he faces challenges both foreign and domestic, including slowing but persistent inflation and a possible economic recession. Trouble with swing voters. Biden ousted Trump from the White House thanks to a coalition that combined the entire Democratic base with key swing groups who don't identify with either party. But now both blocs show significant cracks in their approval of Biden. Among independents, a group Biden won by double digits in 2020, the president is now underwater by a roughly 2-to-1 margin, according to two polls released in late March from Fox News and Quinnipiac University. In the Fox News poll, only 35% of voters approved of the job Biden is doing, while 65% disapproved. In the Quinnipiac poll, Biden's numbers with independents are even worse, just 26% approve, and 67% disapprove. Biden is 17 points underwater among suburban voters in the Fox News poll and 23 points in arrears in a Pew Research Center survey from late March and early April. Swingy suburban voters are a group Biden won narrowly over Trump in both the network exit poll, Biden 2 among suburban voters, and AP Votecast, Biden 10, a voter survey commissioned by the Associated Press and Fox News. Biden 1 self-described moderates by 20 to 30 points in 2020, but the same group is evenly split on his job approval, according to the Fox News poll, 47% approve and 51% disapprove. Softness among Democrats and core constituencies. Perceptions of Biden's job performance are uniquely tepid among base voters, Democrats and other left-leaning demographic groups, in ways that his most recent predecessors, Trump and Barack Obama, never experienced. Even as they inspired enmity among members of the opposite party, both Trump and Obama won the same level of approval from their own party. But that's not happening with Biden. Virtually all Republicans say they disapprove of his job performance, 90% or greater in each of the 3 polls referenced above, but Democrats aren't answering with their own approval. In the Fox News and Quinnipiac polls, approval of Biden's job performance among Democrats is around 80%. The Pew Research Center survey combines Democrats with independents who say they lean more toward the Democratic Party, still a must-win group for Biden, and finds his approval rating lower, at 67%. Moreover, Biden is struggling with key subgroups of the Democratic base. He won around 9 in 10 black voters in 2020, but only 59% of black respondents to the Pew Research Center poll said they approve of how Biden is handling his job as president. So far, Biden isn't facing a credible threat for the presidential nomination within the Democratic Party. Should he enter the race, the only announced challengers with any degree of name ID he'd face are Marianne Williamson, who dropped out of the 2020 race before voting began, and Robert F. Kennedy Jr., the son of the senator whose most prominent public advocacy in recent years has been against vaccinations. According to the latest Kaiser Family Foundation polling, only 8% of Democrats say they won't receive the COVID vaccine, underscoring how difficult it will be to sell primary voters on an anti-vaccination platform. Still, Biden faces a distinct, and without recent precedent, lack of enthusiasm for his candidacy among Democrats. In a CNN poll from last month, only 68% of Democrats said Biden deserves to be re-elected next year. In this way, Biden's approval rating might actually overstate his electoral position. Around 1 in 10 Americans who say they approve of Biden's job performance, 11%, say they don't think he deserves to be re-elected. In other words, they think he's doing a good job, but harbor doubts about another term. CNN noted that the 11% is a greater share than the overlap between Trump and Obama approvers and those who thought they deserved second terms. Those numbers were 3 and 5% for Trump and Obama, respectively. But there's also reason to believe Democrats will come home next November. Even as his approval rating and re-election numbers lag, Biden is still running neck and neck with Trump and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis in general election matchups, and winning most Democrats in the process. In the Quinnipiac poll, despite his 80% approval rating with Democratic voters, Biden wins 93% of Democrats in a head-to-head with Trump and 94% in a face-off with DeSantis. That's today's latest news. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment so that this channel can continue to exist. Thank you for listening to the end, and I hope it's useful.